Every year in May, we run mental health awareness campaigns at Convo. We are looking forward to a future where conversations around mental health and mental illnesses are held openly without fear, stigma, or uncertainty. This year's theme is recovering from substance use disorders. Did you know about 0.5 million deaths are attributable to substance use disorders globally, and about 35 million people worldwide are struggling with substance use disorders? Now, because of those alarming statistics, we thought it's important for us to have this conversation. My name is Frida, and this is Convo, encouraging conversations that matter. So today, I'm joined in by a friend of mine. She's been a friend of Convo. It's not her first time here. And she's going to help us demystify the role of nutrition, or the relationship between nutrition and substance use disorders. So I'm joined in by Sylvia. Karibu sana, Sylvia.
Thank you so much, Frida, for having me here. I'm so
pleasure.
glad to join into this conversation and even contribute to this great topic of mental health and substance use disorders.
Wow, welcome back to Convo. It's always a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to have you back here.
Thank you so much.
So, Sylvia, what have you been up to currently?
Yeah, it's been long.
Yeah.
And so currently I actually work as a research assistant in a
Wow.
company called Covidence.
Uh-huh.
It's a company that mainly specializes in systematic reviews, which is
Yes.
a type of research.
Uh-huh.
And also, on top of that, I'm still working on my thesis.
Yes.
I'm a student at Kenyatta University.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm so glad to be here.
Those are very big words right there. Systematic review. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I say systematic reviews, yeah.
Okay, so the reason you're here today is because we want to talk about the role of nutrition in substance use disorders. So maybe the first question I would ask is there a relationship between substance use disorders and a person's nutritional status?
Yes, Frida, there's a very positive relationship
Yes.
between substance use disorders and nutrition, because as you understand, nutrition is the way our body uses the food that we give it. So when we are talking about the role of the relationship between substance use disorders and nutrition, we are looking at how does the substance that one is using at the moment affecting how the body utilizes the nutrients that
Exactly.
it's receiving.
Yeah.
So in many ways, substances that we take in the body, whether they're good or bad, whatever substance you take in will affect your nutrition status, meaning it will affect how your body will utilize and even use the different nutrients that you give to it. So more specifically, substances, like alcohol and other drugs, may not really have a good positive effect on the body in a way that they sometimes decrease they specifically decrease nutrient intake, nutrient absorption in the body, and also they still decrease nutrient intake because they affect your appetite. And also lastly, because of all that, they affect the hormones in the body, which completely distorts your nutrition status as an individual. So there's a very positive relationship between your nutrition status and substance abuse.
I think what I'm hearing is first, the substances people use may affect the hormones, which will lead to a decreased appetite. And then also something else that will be affected is the way the body absorbs the nutrients. So maybe what you meant, did you mean that maybe someone can suffer malnutrition because of substance use disorders?
Yes, Frida. Most of the substance use disorder, people that are experiencing substance use disorders, do suffer from malnutrition. There is over malnutrition and under malnutrition. So either way, they do suffer from malnutrition in a way that even though physically they may not look malnourished, but their bodies are deficient of some nutrients that are very important in their normal functioning. So anyone who is common user or a frequent user of substances, they do suffer from malnutrition always. Yes.
Okay, wow. So maybe the next question is, is there a role of nutrition in recovering from substance use disorders?
Oh yes. I think any nutrition always stands out as a preventive measure. Now that you're a doctor, nutrition always stands out as a preventive measure to any illness or any condition that the body is facing. In a way that we can use food as medicine, as they say, either use your food as medicine or, you know. So nutrition can play a really great role to individuals that are trying to recover or that have made that decision to get out of, you know, the condition they are currently experiencing as drug and substance users. So first, as we said, we say that substance abuse will often affect food intake. So the first thing that nutrition will do when we are trying to recover from the substance use disorder is to heal and nourish the body. Because as we are saying, this person has been experiencing deficiencies. Their bodies have been unable to absorb certain nutrients because of the drugs they've been taking and everything. So the first step that you want to do when you are recovering from this substance is to heal and nourish your body. To ensure that you bring back your body to the normal status that it was in before you got yourself in that situation. So by healing your body, you want to focus on maybe having whole foods and having more healthy options in your diet, you know, because you see, if you're talking about something like alcohol, that is high sugar consumption. Like, you know, the individual is consuming excess sugar.
Wow, I didn't know that alcohol has high sugar.
Yes, alcohol is purely sugar because, you know, it's made from wheat or malt, which is a carbohydrate and it's converted to sugar. So it is a high sugar substance. So so you want to heal the body, you want to nourish the body, so you have to switch from that and now go back to something that is more healthy, something that is more balanced, and something that the body would use more effectively to help in its normal functions. And then also, you know, you want to heal the hormones. Remember I said that one of the ways that substance use affects nutrition is because it affects the hormones in the body. And this happens because there is a deficit in the absorption of the nutrients in the body. And all these nutrients work to help in stabilizing hormones. So like, you know, when amino acids are not absorbed effectively, and most of the hormones are made out from amino acids. So it means, like, you know, the hormones won't be functioning effectively. And if the hormones are not functioning effectively, you find that most of the people with experiencing substance abuse disorders tend to be depressed, they tend to be anxious, they tend to, you know, have all those mood disorders that also, you know, and then now they think, because, you know, I have this mood disorder, I need to go for something else, you know, which is either the drug or the alcohol, to help in...
So they abuse the substance because they are thinking it will help them elevate their mood, which is caused by the lack of amino acids that make up the hormone. That makes a lot of sense.
So it becomes like a cycle. They get depressed, they get anxious, they go to the... Let's say if it's somebody who's taking a lot of alcohol, so they'll go to take the alcohol.
They take more alcohol,
and then of course it will give them that, you know, temporary feeling of and then also after some time they realize again they are depressed and anxious, so it becomes a cycle. So nutrition is also key in helping to make sure that you're able to repair your hormones so that they function effectively and give you good signals in the body, not the wrong signals of I'm depressed, I'm anxious. And then the last thing that nutrition can help in recovering of most alcoholics is that it helps to reduce cravings, you know. Because not really alcoholics in particular, but any person who's suffering from, you know, substance use disorders, they tend to be hydrated. They tend to be dehydrated. They tend to have high sugars and all those kind of imbalances in the body, which often cause them to have cravings. Sometimes they have cravings for certain food. Some people will have cravings for something like, you know, meat, and they'll go binge on meat. Others will have cravings for the alcohol. I told you the alcohol is sugar. So it becomes like a craving, you know, I need more sugar, so I can only get it from alcohol. So they go for the alcohol or whatever substance they're using. So nutrition, if you are able now to go back and be able to balance your diet well, take adequate water, go out and exercise, you're able to work on those cravings, you know, that are not working good for you. You're able to alleviate those cravings, and then now you're able to start your healing process and getting away from the dependency or whatever it is that you are experiencing at the moment.
Wow, that is so much information right there, because I think, let's break it down. When you said that, just the example you gave about amino acids, most hormones are made from amino acids. I know, for example, the happy hormone serotonin is made from amino acids. So when a person is consuming a substance, they are depriving themselves of that amino acid. So the hormone is will be low. So just to break it down for somebody who is watching, you know, they could be hearing amino acids and they're wondering, what are amino acids? So what foods should I go for so that I get these amino acids?
So I would just say, you know, like amino acid, when you're talking about amino acids, you're talking about proteins. But as a person who's trying to recover, what you actually need, because, you know, again, you cannot go high on proteins and low on carbohydrates to try and, you know, recover or something like that. So to any person that's watching this and you are wondering, maybe you are trying to get the sense of what you're experiencing and everything, I would encourage you to consider going on a very balanced diet. And if you can be able, because different drugs affect the body differently.
It's true.
Not everybody will be deficient of the amino acids. Not everybody will be deficient of the vitamins, you know, because it depends on what they are using at the moment. So depending on what you're using at the moment, if you are able to see an expert, they can be able to guide you through, you know, you're using this thing, so it's affecting the absorption of these nutrients. So you need to eat more of these nutrients. Yes, they can see a specialist or and be able to guide them through their recovery. But essentially, before you see the specialist and you're wondering what can I be doing, meanwhile, just ensure that your meals are balanced. Ensure you take the proteins, ensure you take the carbohydrates, ensure you take the vitamins, and ensure you take water. And please go out and have a walk. Don't spend the entire day in the house. Yes.
So I think I just got a new perspective of these substance use disorders, because I think when I thought about substance use disorders, I thought that what that person needs is maybe a psychiatrist, a counseling psychologist, and then if they have like medical problems that need a general practitioner, then they need to be referred to that. But I think after you've shared with us, I've just realized they need to see a nutritionist too. So maybe incorporating nutrition into the treatment of substance use disorders is a great way to help these people.
Oh yes, it's a great way, because, you know, Frida, when you're talking about, like, we have different components of drug abuse, as you said. We have the mental part of it, we have the health part of it, we have the nutrition part of it, we even have the social part of it. In a way that you find that most of the people that are experiencing these conditions are using, maybe, let's say, all their cash on drugs. So they are economically deprived or something. So maybe they might need some form of social security or safety net to be able to even afford the food that we're talking about. Because you're telling somebody, eat a balanced food, and they're not even able to afford a single meal a day. They sometimes depend on maybe petty crime to be able to finance their habit or something like that. So all these people need to work together as one team to be able to help that individual effectively.
Wow, amazing. I think that goes to every healthcare worker watching us today, because this has to be a multidisciplinary approach. We can't just treat their mental disorder and leave the other part of it. There's a social part. We have to look at, do they have support?
Oh yes.
Yeah, do they have the food we're asking them to eat? Can they afford, or can they access it? So it's very important for us to, you know, consider all these parts when we're handling these cases. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Our time is up. Maybe just to give you 1 minute to give a parting shot, and then we'll call it a day.
Yeah, thank you so much, Frida, for having me here. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And maybe to any person watching us and you are in this state, I will just encourage you and say, you know, like, no situation is hopeless.
Yeah.
You can always come out. You can always make that decision right now that, you know what, I can't live like this, and go seek help, and I'm sure you'll find it. So no situation is hopeless. Keep working on yourself. It's a journey, but every journey has its end. Like, you will recover. I can assure you, you will recover. If you do the right things, you will recover. Thank you so much, Frida.
Thank you for coming. It's always a joy to have you here. Thank you so much for staying with us, my viewer. You've heard all that Sylvia had to share. If you're struggling with a substance use disorder, you can always reach to us. There will be numbers on your screen, so feel free to do that, and we'll make sure that you find the help that you need. If you have any questions, feel free to ask as well. Thank you so much. So from now, from me and Sylvia, it's a bye-bye.